What's going on, preppers? Welcome back to the channel. Economic Prepper here. Hope that you guys are doing well today. Several things that I want to share with you guys in today's video. But before we jump into it, I just want to thank you guys so much. We're growing our community here, our prepping community. And I'm really happy with the progress that a lot of you guys are making. And I just want to thank you guys so much for thanking me and letting me know about your prepping journeys. Thank you for sharing your the prep progress that you guys are making with relation to prepping and getting ready for anything to hit the fan, for anything and everything. Because SHTF, it means literally anything could hit the fan, and we have to be ready. We have to be prepared. New additional updates are coming out each and every single day, and it's about awareness. It's about staying smart, and more importantly, and actually while we're on this topic here, I want to just commend you guys for how smart you guys and how sharp you guys are. I learned so much from you guys, and I want to thank you for that. We've got a big weekend coming up here. I saw a lot of yellow bags. Personally, I saw a lot of yellow bags on the diesel pumps. I don't know if I've seen yellow bags, the out of service, out of fuel bags on the unleaded fuels, like your 90s, 93 octane, your 87 octane, 89 octane. I hadn't seen that. So that was good. However, I did see some big lines. I saw big lines at some of these local gas stations around me. I don't know if you guys are seeing the same thing, but there's a lot of posts going around regarding this July 3rd through July 5th boycott of fuel, boycott of gas. So basically, I'm not really sure what the effect is going to be on the oil price, on the gas prices as a result of this boycott. But if you guys are not aware of it, basically there's a lot of different videos going viral and posts going viral talking about this planned boycott that's coming up the Independence Day weekend. You know, whether that amounts to anything, I understand the idea behind it, but it's kind of like, you know, I don't really think that it's really going to do much. But comment down below if you guys are participating in that gas boycott. Comment down below if you guys are even aware of the gas boycott. Seems like it's like everyone's talking about it. So just wanted to share that information with you guys. Also, in terms of food shortages, I was sharing what the shelves look like at this local Walmart with just the other day, a couple days back actually. And number one, some of the meats almost don't look safe to eat. I'm just gonna leave it at that, right? I saw your comments, and a lot of you guys agreed with me that, you know, you wouldn't eat that. That's neither here nor there. But one thing that I wanted to touch on is, I guess I need to be a little bit more sensitive, because not every grocery store looks the same. Not every Walmart is stocked the same. Not every Walmart, Costco, BJ's, where else do you shop? Aldi, Publix. Not every one of these grocery store chains, and some of you guys don't even shop at any of these store chains. Some of you guys have local store chains that I've never even heard of. But you had commented on one of my previous videos indicating that the grocery store shelves were very well stocked. And so we're not seeing any immediate food shortages where I'm at. However, a lot of you guys are saying that you are seeing food shortages. So obviously this is regional, where these food shortages or empty shelves are appearing. So, you know, basically what I'm saying is I hear you guys, and I recognize that, you know, while we may not see food shortages here, you may be seeing food shortages. So I'm not ignoring that your empty shelves in your grocery stores are real. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. And I also I actually got a message from a Costco employee. I actually had a brief conversation with a Costco employee that was a little bit concerning, that I wanted to share with you guys, and I'm absolutely going to share that information with you guys later in this video. But really quickly, I wanted to touch on some key issues that are going to affect us, and It's coming down the pipeline, you guys. Bank of America actually says to brace for a recession shock after the worst rout in 52 years. And this is coming from one of the largest banks that we have here in our country. Got some large trucks driving by here. Sorry about that. But to be honest with you, I'm very happy to see the trucks driving by, as a lot of truckers have actually decided to kind of hang up the keys for their trucking business. And it seems like it might be more of the newer truck drivers who are not necessarily fully experienced in the trucking industry that are hanging up the keys sooner than others. I actually was on Facebook just the other day, and it was kind of sad to see. I saw one of my colleagues listing his truck for sale, and I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but it was just kind of shocking to see this investment of his semi truck being listed for sale on Facebook Marketplace of all places. So I can only imagine why he's selling it. I don't know if he's selling it because of the cost of diesel fuel being so expensive, the supply chain issues that we've been experiencing are driving retailers like, Target, Walmart, Amazon, Amazon of all people, right? COSTCO and, BJ's to literally be offering these truck drivers less and less for their loads, for the cost that they're willing to pay, or the amount that they're willing to pay for truck drivers to deliver loads is going down and down, further and further down. While at the same time, we do have supply chain backup issues at the container ports off the coast of California. But the problem is, a lot of these retailers, they're full. Their shelves are not empty. And that is actually creating a problem. It's funny. Empty shelves were a problem before. Now the fact that the store shelves are not empty is also a problem, because many of these retailers are having no place to put this inventory that they've ordered. And this is creating a massive problem, especially with the reduced demand from the consumers, which I'm going to talk to you guys about later in this video. Had a conversation with a Costco employee who shared something with me that was very, very concerning about the future of the consumer, which has everything to do with our economy. Our economy is primarily based on consumer spending. And what I have to share with you guys about what this Costco employee told me is it's a little concerning. So Bank of America just released a warning. They go on to say that a recession shock begins for markets following the worst half of the S&P 500 for more than 50 years. This is according to Bank of America's chief investment strategist. And this is a scary warning. This is one of the worst. This is one of the worst first halves for the S&P 500 in more than 50 years. Now, whether you invest in the stock market or not, if you're headed for retirement, if you're in retirement, the S&P 500 performance has everything to do with everything. Your retirement portfolio, your 401k, your retirement IRA, your retirement pension largely has to do with the performance of the S&P 500. The S&P 500 stock market index contains 500 of the largest companies in the United States. So if these 500 companies in the United States are struggling, that is a big problem. It's a problem for your retirement. It's a problem for your personal wealth. It's a problem for the employees who depend on the jobs at those 500 largest companies in the United States on the S&P 500 employ. If companies' earnings are weak, if companies' revenues and profit margins are weak, well, what do you think? How do you think that is going to affect the stability and the of that employee's employment? Very, very important, guys. And these are the things that we need to be paying attention to. Amazon delivery driver driving by, and I'm really happy to see these trucks going by here, because at least people are buying stuff. Some people are buying stuff, so that's very good. Goes on to say that while expectations of aggressive rate hikes by the Federal Reserve are peaking, Inflation expectations are not, and Bank of America's bull and bear indicator remains maximum bearish for a third week in a row. So this doesn't say a whole lot for the anticipated trajectory of the stock market. Basically, one of the biggest banks, multi-billion-dollar bank, is expecting things to get worse according to this information here. Goes on to say that, and this is actually coming from Kathy Woods here. She says that we are in a recession. Kathy Woods is warning investors about the big problem with the economy, and we're seeing this across the board. The official GDP estimate for Q2 won't be available until later next month, but many experts, including ARK Invest's Kathy Wood, is calling for a recession. She goes on to say that she thinks that we are in a recession already. Now, we talked about this in one of my previous videos, what to look out for leading up to a recession. How do you know you're in a recession? What to expect? How to prepare yourself. It's all about preparation, you guys. Prepping and not letting the warning signs display themselves to you without taking the proper precautionary steps to mitigate risk so that you can weather whatever storm is coming at you. That's the whole idea behind prepping. And it's funny that they even call it prepping. To me, it's just basic awareness and not just ignoring the warnings that we see each and every single day, right? So I'm in Costco the other day, and I'm, packing up the shopping cart, looking for deals, looking for items that are on sale that I could potentially buy today so I don't have to pay a higher price tomorrow. And believe it or not, there are actually a lot of sales to be had. And this probably goes in line with what I was saying about how these container ports, they're still trying to unload, but there's not enough truckers. And the fact that there's so much overstock now at these big box retailers, and it's scary because they're giving this stuff away. So if they're giving this stuff away, that means they're not profiting to, and hitting the profit margins that they need to hit. And as much as I'm happy to get a great deal, this means that the employees and shareholders of that company, they're at risk. Shareholders are at risk because the company's less profitable. Employees are at risk because the company is less profitable. And if the company is less profitable because they're not able to sell products at the targeted price point that they expected, well, your job's at risk. I don't care if you're a manager at the store, if you're a low-level employee, just working part-time trying to make it through school, your job is at risk. And the more jobs that are at risk, the more our local economy is at risk. It's a domino effect, right? So just imagine if lots of people in your immediate area suddenly lose their jobs. Well, that's a massive income shock to your local economy. They're not buying from the stores that are in your local economy. Your neighbor could possibly be at risk of not being able to continue to make their mortgage payments, right? I mean, if their mortgage isn't paid, then eventually the house will get foreclosed on. If the house gets foreclosed on, chances are the house sells for a lot less than what it would normally sell for if it was not a distressed property. Now, and if that house sells for less than market value, now your house value is going down. It's a domino effect, and it's awful. Then you got families on the streets. It's an awful cycle, and I'm looking forward to the day when I can tell you guys, hey, the cycle's broken, things are on the up and up. But as we prep, as we prepare, as we're preparing for the future, as we're prepping for the future, we're making sure that we survive this storm that we're attempting to weather now, but actually moving forward, we're strategically preparing ourselves financially so that we can excel, because this storm is not going to last forever. And I want you guys to know that this storm is not going to last forever. And once we make it through on the other side, I'm waiting to hear a lot of the success stories from you guys telling me, hey, Ron, I've been following you since things started looking really, really bad and we were scared. And you held my hand and you walked me through this thing, and you showed me how to prepare. You showed me how to prep. And now that we're on the other side of this thing, things weren't even as bad as we thought that they were. And now me and my family are on the road to financial freedom. And I'm looking forward to hear more of those success stories from you guys. So I was talking to a Costco person, And, you know, we're checking out because, you know, like actually we did the self-checkout and she was like, you know, hey, do you need any help? I was like, sure. You know, I didn't want to have to scan all this stuff. And some of the items is going to require ID. And anyway, so I knew I was going to need some help. So we're, you know, just having a little bit of small talk. So I asked her, I was like, you know, hey, you know, how are things here? Because I know a lot of retail employees were telling me that they're not getting the amount of hours that they want because these companies are trying to cut back. They're not able to get hit the profit margins that they're trying to hit. Stock market's down. Their stocks for their companies are down. We know that the S&P 500 is down 20%. So she says to me that, number one, she hasn't been able to get 40 hours a week in months. That was a little startling considering the fact that, you know, she was used to getting close to over 40 hours a week. She was getting over 40 hours. Now she's not even getting 40 hours. Now, one of the reasons why these companies are trying to hire more, and this is the funny thing, a lot of these companies are complaining that they can't hire more people. Well, the people don't want to necessarily work for a company that they can't rely on how much money they're going to make, right? Like, you might be making a great hourly rate, but if you don't know if you're going to get 15 hours or 40 hours, that's a problem, right? Like, you don't want to drive, you know, you don't want to waste your time committing to work at a place that's only going to let you work 3-4 hours a day. That's ridiculous. Anyway, so one of the things that she noticed beyond the fact that her hours have been cut, she said that she has a lot of regular clients. And that's the interesting. I normally see, and you guys can let me know if you're seeing the same thing. Seems like a lot more business owners tend to shop at Costco compared to, say, Sam's Club. I don't know. Anyway, maybe just an anecdotal thing that I noticed. But she said that a lot of her business clients, her small business owners, are a lot more price sensitive when they come in there. So, for example, she said, you know, occasionally there's pricing that doesn't necessarily match up with what the customer thought it was. So when they go to check out, they ring up the product price doesn't necessarily match. Now, normally, if there's a little bit of discrepancy, the customer's like, all right, whatever, and they go about their business. She said that she's seeing more and more small business owners. Now, these are people who have a tendency to spend more money than the average non-small business owner. In Costco, she said more of these small business owners are putting stuff back on the shelves, or they're just like leaving, you know, they're like, oh, the price isn't what they thought it was. They're leaving it right there. Now, that's scary, especially when you know that these small business owners, they're, number one, spending more money in these stores, whether it be Costco, Walmart, Publix, you know, BJ, Sam's Club, it doesn't matter. When these small businesses start cutting back, that's a big chunk of revenue that these stores are not getting. So it's further propelling this problem, further propelling us into a recession. Because remember, a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP. Well, when revenues and profits decline, this is further declining the gross domestic product, the GDP, propelling us toward a recession. But the other thing is that these small business owners, they employ people. They employ people like me and you. And so when these small businesses are getting really concerned, and one of the easiest, I don't know if it's the easiest ways, but one way that a business can attempt to shore up their profit margin to make up for slower sales or lower profit margins is to lay off their employees. That's a big overhead expense. So that was very, very concerning, and it was an eye-opener for me just to hear that from a Costco employee. She's boots on the ground, but at the same time, I am thankful that she has a job. So guys, you know, it's all about prepping. It's all about preparing. Me personally, I'm looking to eliminate high interest debt. I'm looking to build up that reserve fund, build up that emergency fund, and have a lot of cash on the sideline to be able to sustain myself throughout these unexpected times. And I'm still investing. A lot of people don't realize that you can actually make money in the stock market, even though the stock market's going down. I'm going to share more information about that in my future videos. But, you know, you guys stay positive, keep prepping, keep those pantries full, and drop a like if you made it through this video to this point. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Take care, preppers.